Got a good one today, guys. Zombeavers. What is scarier than a zombie beaver? Like nothing, right? Exactly. So, I was going to do this one for Canada Day, and then I found out that despite beavers being the theme, it's not at all Canadian. So, figured I'd throw this one on just some random day. But I watched it, so we got to review it. Yeah, as you know, spoiler alert. Yeah, spoilers. I'm going to be talking about the movie and what happens in the movie and all that kind of jazz. So if you don't want it to be spoiled, as ridiculous as a film as this is, language. I can't language sometimes, so you have to understand. Yeah, anyway, you've been warned about spoilers. So, what exactly would a story about zombie beavers be like? Well, I'm here to tell you. So, we've got a chem truck. Well, just some truck with chemicals on it driving down the road. We've got a nice little guest appearance by Bill Burr and his buddy talking about you name it. He ends up going off on this tangent about how he dated a guy once, and it was great because he'd just be like, hey, you want to get some beer? Yeah, for sure. Hey, you want to do this? Yeah, for sure. Hey, you want to watch the game? Yeah, for sure. But, you know, whatever. And then he's like, yeah, but the sex sucked. It's like, okay, whatever. Anyway, he's distracted by his phone, and his buddy is like, there's deer in the road. And he's like, oh yeah, it's okay. It's like, do you see the deer? He's like, oh yeah, I see it. He's still on his phone. Anyway, smokes the deer. Deer explodes. Guts everywhere. Guess he didn't really see that deer. Anyway, roll the intro credits, which is a nice, fun thing to see. You don't see intro credits very often anymore. Anyway, there's a video of one of these chemical barrels that was in the truck had fallen off the truck. These guys went to check, apparently didn't notice that one of them was missing, and it goes floating down a river. You get this nice, peaceful river, beautiful scenery. This metallic, looks like a keg basically, floating down the river, hits a beaver dam. Beavers look at it like, what the hell? And it springs a leak and sprays green stuff all over the beavers, and there you go. Now we get to meet our characters. So we see some girl in the bathroom. This girl ends up being Jen, who, well, whatever, we'll get into it. Jen, one of the main characters. She's looking at texts from her boyfriend Sam, and they, I guess, had a fight or broke up or something, and she's dealing with it and kind of telling him to frig off and all that. And anyway, she leaves the bathroom and gets into the car, and her two friends are there by the names of Mary and Zoe. So they're planning a girls' cabin weekend or something adventure. No phones, no guys, just the girls having a good time. So that's pretty fun. Anyway, they all seem to be obsessed with their phones anyway, so it doesn't even really matter. They pull up to the cabin and get out. There's like a lake and a little floating dock in the middle, and they get into the cabin, and right away Jen excuses herself to go to the bathroom where she's secretly checking her phone. No signals, son of a bitch. Okay, comes out. Zoe goes to the bathroom. Mary's like, you were checking your phone, weren't you? She's like, no. And she's like, yeah, you were. 100% you were checking your phone. Let me guess, no signal, right? Right. Well, that's the point of this. Then you hear Zoe scream from the bathroom, and you're like, oh, fuck, here's the beavers. No, she's screaming because there's no signal. She's also not very thrilled about that. Anyway. They go swimming, and Zoe, of course, you gotta have boobs in a movie like this, so she takes off her top, and there's, you know, fun adventures in the water. And they see the beaver dam, and they decide, oh, let's go, I want to see a beaver, they're cute, let's go swim up to it. So they do. And all over this beaver dam, they see this green, like, we don't know what it is, goo, liquid, whatever, sprayed upon it. They're like, oh, what is that? And they're kind of trying to figure out what it is. Maybe like the beavers are marking their territory, but that's gross. It's like neon lime green or whatever. Anyway. Then there's a bear. And it scares the hell out of them. And Zoe, who's completely fine, you know, being exposed and boobs out and everything, as soon as she sees the bear, she screams and covers herself, which I thought was a nice little touch. Anyway, there's a gunshot, and in walks this gentleman by the name of Smith, with a Y, very important. He walks out, he scares the bear off. He says, guys, what are you doing out here? And they're like, oh, we saw the beaver dam and we wanted to see some beavers. Very cool. He's like, yeah, well, beavers are kind of actually dangerous. You know that, right? And they're like, okay, well, we'll try to be more careful. And he's like, you guys should also cover up. We got decent folks around here, blah, 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 blah. And they're like, yeah, Zoe, her bikini fell off in the water. And so, we're going back right now. He's like, no, not just her, like all of you. You got your bellies showing and your tattoos and all that. He's got that kind of accent or whatever. He's one of those folk, that just wants everything to be nice, I don't know how to explain it. But anyway, that's probably the worst accent that you could ever do that I just did. So you're welcome for that. There's a little confidence boost. If you think your accents for Southern drawl suck, listen to mine and yours will instantly be better by a comparison. Anyway, it's neither here or there. They walk back to the cabin and whatnot, and it's nighttime, and sorry, my brain is like exploding for a second. So the neighbor comes over at some point too, and I think this happens before the bear gunshot thing or whatever, and introduces herself. And Mary's kind of like, yeah, I mean, she's our neighbor, she's kind of nosy, but whatever. But she doesn't really do much. She just stays and like kind of says hello and says, I'm over there if you need me, whatever. That's delightful. Anyway, night falls and they hear some banging on the outside of the cabin, and they're like, oh my god, what's that? Is that the bear maybe? Or I don't know. Anyway, they get outside and the door shuts behind them, and it's like, what the hell's going on? And lo and behold, it's the boyfriends, all of them. So we got Tommy, who is dating Mary. We've got Buck, who is dating Zoe, and then we got Sam, the guy that Jen recently broke up with or is fighting with or whatever. So that's a little awkward. Mary is kind of like, we're gonna have a girls' night, blah 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 blah. You guys, you have to leave. And Jen's just like, fuck. They can stay, it's fine. And that's wonderful. So cue to Sam and Jen sitting on the couch while all of their other friends are off in the other rooms banging. We got a brilliant line from Buck. He's like, holy fuck, I feel like a Power Ranger. So, I mean, of all the things you're going to say during sex, that would be, oh man, that'd be a top one for sure. I mean, if that doesn't get your girlfriend in the mood, comparing yourself to a Power Ranger. Anyway, there's a couple of lines in this film that are pretty brilliant, I have to say. Anyway, that happens, and while this is going on, they have a little heart-to-heart, and he's like, why did you have to cheat on me? So there you go. So he cheated, apparently. There was a photo of him with some other girl, and she's asking, like, hey, who's this other girl? Like, I can't see her face. Just tell me. Like, let's deal with this and get it in the open, you know what I mean? Not promising they're going to get back together or anything, but anyway, she smacks him. He's like, oh yeah, you feel better? And she smacks him again, like even harder, and gets up and says, yeah, I'm feeling better now. I'm getting better. She gets up and he follows her and kind of like manhandles her a little bit and pushes her against the wall for whatever reason. And then they just start making out, and I'm like, oh, okay, it's one of these movies. And then she nut shots him and basically tells him to fuck off. So that was good. Yeah. Anyway, that's a scene. Anyway, we get our beaver attack eventually, our first one. So we have this this beaver that ends up being in the bathroom. So Jen's gonna have a shower, and she strips down to her skivvies, not completely naked. Nope, the only boobs we get are Zoe, so that's fine. But she gets in the shower and pulls the curtain, and there we go. We got a Zombeaver, and they're absolutely puppets, but they're great. Yeah, so it basically looks like a beaver with mange, and its eyes are like white, like glossed over, and no pupils and whatnot. So that's what they look like. Anyway, she screams, runs out of the room. Everyone else is like, dude, what the hell's going on? And she says there's a beaver in there, and they're like, what the hell? Okay, that's weren't you wanting to see those earlier? She's like, no, there's something wrong with this fucking beaver. Like, it's not normal. So naturally the boys are like, all right, let's save the day. So you get Tommy with a bat, and he goes into the bathroom, and Buck goes in the bathroom, and they're looking around. There's no beaver here. Lo and behold, there absolutely is a fucking beaver. And it attacks Buck, and he falls on the ground. I think it bites him or scratches him or something, and Tommy ends up beating the shit out of this beaver with a baseball bat, and it's not dying for whatever reason. And he hits it and hits it and hits it and hits it and hits it. Finally, it stops moving, and they assume it's dead, and he's like, what the fuck is wrong with this beaver? Anyway, they throw it they bag it. They throw it in a garbage bag and put it on the porch, and that's the end of it. Yeah, he's scratched up a little bit, Buck, but he's not he's not done by any means. It's just whatever. It is what it is. So they go to bed, and then the next day they all go out swimming, and Jen is not too down with going into the water. Like, dude, it's dead. She's like, hey, but we don't know how many are out there, you know what I mean? It's like, oh my god. So she sits on the shore, and all the others go swimming and have fun, and we get a little scene where Mary and Sam are sitting on the dock together, and we find out, oh shit, Mary's the one that Sam cheated on Jen with, and they're kind of like having a little talk and saying like, listen, we can, it didn't mean anything. It doesn't matter. It's basically revealed. It doesn't matter how they talk about it. Anyway, yeah. And she's panicking about the beavers, and they're trying to convince her, and she's like, finally, okay, I'll go in. Clearly nothing's happening to you guys. So she puts her feet in the water, and Buck is like, oh my god, what a change of events. What could have spurred this? Whatever. Some spiel that he does. She's like, all right. And then something touches her foot, and she freaks out. She's still in the water, but she's like, okay, something fucking touched my foot. And they're like, okay, like, it's like maybe it's a fish or a frog or something. And then Buck goes underwater, and it's like a joke, and Zoe's laughing. She's like, see, oh no, it's got Buck now. And then blood starts appearing in the water, and they're like, what the fuck? And Buck's head comes back out, and he's like, screaming, and they swim to the dock, and they get on the dock, and lo and behold, Buck's foot is gone. So there's our second attempt of beaver massacre. So beavers make themselves very aware. They reveal themselves. There's more than one of them. They're trying to get onto the dock. They're banging under it and everything. Meanwhile, Jen has run to the cabin, essentially, to call someone. The cops, animal control, we don't know. Apparently, the beavers have cut the phone lines. So yeah, it's one of those movies. It's a little silly. It's a little ridiculous. Beavers cut the phone lines. Phone's dead. Oh, I forgot to mention the bag. Before the beaver attack in the water, the bag that they threw was open, and the beaver was gone, and there's footprints, and she's freaking out like, okay, like, what the fuck? And all the other guys are basically saying, like, listen, we're in the middle of the woods. We threw a dead animal outside. There was some other animal that was just happy that it was there. It's an easy snack. That's probably what happened. Anyway, no. Turns out that inside the house with the cut phone lines and Jen, the same beaver that Tommy had beat the shit out of with a bat jumps at her and starts attacking her and all that. And she climbs up on the counter, and it tries to climb up on the counter too. It's like almost in half. Like it's ripped practically in half, just held by like sinews, and obviously it's a Zombeaver. Very clear at this point now, if it wasn't before. Anyway, she stabs it and pins it to the counter with a knife, and everyone else is still outside stuck, and Sam in his infinite wisdom grabs Zoe's little dog. I forgot to mention there's a little dog too. Throws it in the water to distract the beavers, and yes, the dog dies, and yes, we see it get pulled under and blood and everything. We don't see like it get ripped apart, but it clearly dies on camera. So if you don't like that kind of stuff of animal deaths, there you go. That happens. Anyway, that buys them enough time to swim away, get to the cabin. They see the beaver pin there. They shut the door. All the beavers are around the cabin at this point now. And this one's still going, rah, rah, rah. It's like, okay, like, what the hell's going on? Does it have rabies or something? And Jen's like, no, I think we know what's going on. And they're like, are we actually saying what we're thinking? And anyway, Sam's had enough. He takes a knife and just stabs it through the beaver's head, essentially. Takes it down. Because that's how you kill a zombie, right? Through the head. Anyway. One down, essentially. All the others are outside, though. So it cut to nighttime. Beavers start trying to get in. They've boarded the windows up and everything, but it's boarded with wood, and they're beavers. So clearly, you know, it's a tongue-in-cheek kind of thing. Beaver bites through one of the wooden things on the window, and they're like, yeah, beavers tear apart wood. And he's like, okay, well, if you want me to put the building in sheet metal, just let me know and I'll get right on it. Clearly sarcastic. Anyway, there's another point where it's revealed they're all like in the trapped essentially, and it is revealed when how does it come about? Zoe reveals it that Sam and Mary were the ones, and it was Mary in the image with Sam, and she's like, listen, everyone here knows, she has a right to know. And Tommy is quietly like, I didn't know, because he's dating Mary, so that's great. So all this is happening, and there's a little heart-to-heart moment where she's just to Mary like, why him of anyone? She's like, I don't know, it just happened. Anyway, things aren't exactly resolved, but there's a bigger problem at hand right now. Zombie beavers, right? So there you go. Anyway, we got to get Buck to the hospital. So Tommy says, okay, I'll take him to the hospital. Zoe says, I'm coming too. It's my boyfriend. You know, I got to be supportive, whatever. They go to the truck. Surprisingly, no beavers really do much. They get away anyway, and they're driving, and lo and behold, there's a tree in the road. So these beavers have cut down a tree to block the road so that they can't go anywhere. So that's fine. You know, like, shit. Tommy's like, okay, you guys go back to the cabin and I'll go on foot and get help. And they're like, you fucked. They see a truck on the side of the road too. Inside it, there's an axe, so he gives Zoe the axe. There's some guns in there too. They drive off, and a tree falls that the beavers chopped down essentially with their little teethies, and it falls and gets Tommy, so he's done. Drive back to the no, they meet before they get in the truck. They meet Smith again, Smith with a Y, and he ends up shooting one of the beavers or something, or scaring it off or whatever, and they get in his truck and he drives them back, and everyone is in the cabin still, and they're panicking, and they see like there's a truck coming up. Wait, that's Zoe and Buck in there. Is Tommy in there? No, it's some dude. What the hell? Anyway, they boarded up the door, so this isn't good. They're working to try to take the boards off the door, but all of a sudden beavers come, so they're like, fuck this, we gotta go. They run to the neighbor's house, the one from the beginning that introduced herself and was being kind of a little bit of a nosy neighbor. Anyway, Smith is shooting beavers out of the air as they're jumping at him as they're running to this house. And they get into the house and slam the door, and they find the husband, neighbor dude, dead on the ground, face down. He's like, okay. Smith is like, I'm gonna go check upstairs. Buck's lying on the couch, all kind of out of it. He goes upstairs and he sees the woman in the bed, like, mauled, dead. He's like, alright. Comes back downstairs and he's eating a piece of chicken for some reason, and he's like, I can't remember the line exactly, but he's like, she looks, and Zoe has the foot, so the foot is in a bag of ice. I guess they're planning on, when they get Buck to the hospital, reattaching the foot surgically, and he's explaining, like, you can't put it directly on ice, that'll damage the flesh. And she's like, oh shit, okay, well, what do we do? Wrap it in cloth? And he's like, well, I don't know, how long ago did he lose it? And she's like, a couple hours ago, 4 hours maybe. And he's like, oh man, you know, honestly, you better just throw that thing out. Don't bother wasting your time with it. There's no point. Eats the chicken. You want some chicken? She's like, no, I don't want some fucking chicken. The delivery was better than I do. I don't know, there's some subtle lines like that throughout the movie that are just good. Like the Power Ranger thing was good, that was good. Anyway, then the real twist happens. Buck is standing up. But he ain't Buck anymore. He's a man beaver. So, while this is going on back in the cabin there, Mary's asleep and Jen climbs into the bed and she like slowly crawls on top and like pins her arms down, and you're thinking, oh boy, is there gonna be like a lesbian scene? Because we had the boobs already, may as well throw that in there. And even Mary's kind of like, oh Jen, like I know it was like one time or whatever, but like I don't feel for you that way. Plus I'm with with Tommy, and even though she cheated, so whatever, but like whatever. Anyway, nope, lo and behold, Jen, who at this point in the movie I had been led to believe that she was going to be the final girl. She's the main person. No, she transforms into a Zombeaver person. Right there, her teeth fall out and the buck teeth come out and her fingernails stretch into claws, and yeah, she's a beaver. She's got the white over eyes, and now she's on top of Mary attacking her. Anyway. That's a thing that happens. I think Sam ends up saving her or something, and I can't exactly remember. But she gets like an axe to the head or something like that, and she's down for now. She's down for good. Well, she's a Zombeaver, so we'll find out, right? Anyway, they run to the bathroom. The beavers are surrounding the place. They're like breaking through the floor. Oh fuck! There was a scene too before the crawling bed Zombeaver thing where Mary's reading a nature book or something, and she's like, beavers are herbivores. And Jen just looks at her. That's a great book. Like, okay, right on. Anyway, she's reading more and says that they're good burrowers and stuff like that, and they're territorial if there are other beavers nearby. And Sam's like, oh, really? You think they think that we're other beavers? Like, are you Anyway, that's just another example of some of the scene was better than what I'm explaining. It was funny, though. Anyway. Cut back. She's a beaver. They are breaking through the floor. Sam and Mary lock themselves in the bathroom, and Mary's kind of like, okay, did you get bit? Because that just happened. And he's like, I didn't get bit. She's like, take your shirt off. He's like, okay. And he takes the shirt off, and she looks, and he's not bitten anywhere. And she's like, pants, you were in the water. Okay, fine. Sheds all of his clothing, and he's like, you satisfied? She's like, okay. He's like, now you. And she's like, oh. Takes the shirt off. No bites. Takes the pants off. No bites. And then they decide to have sex in the bathroom because, I mean, obviously, right? So that happens. Yeah. What happens from there? Oh yeah, there's a beaver in the bathroom, and it ends up like, no, my bad. It's Jen who bursts through the door and then ends up biting Sam's dick off. So that's delightful. And Mary runs out. Sam's obviously dead at this point, so, or infected at least. He's out for the count, screaming on the ground, holding his crotch. There's and you see it, like the meat stretching and ripping, and yeah, it's delightful. Anyway, back in the other cabin, lo and behold, Buck is also a Zombeaver now, and he attacks Smith and bites his face and is like lifting him above his head, and Zoe's freaking out, and she's like, oh god, I gotta save Smith. So she takes the rifle that Smith had and ends up shooting a couple times, misses, aims right for Buck's face, ends up shooting Smith right in the head instead. So she's a shit aim, clearly. Oh man, it's just a clusterfuck. Then what happens? She runs upstairs and into the bedroom, and lo and behold, that neighbor that Smith found earlier is now also a Zombeaver. So there you go. So she attacks, and Zoe's kind of out of options. She goes to fire the gun, but out of bullets, reloads, fire, out of bullets. Shit. Okay, what are my options? Looks. She's like 2 stories up, jumps out the window, falls to the ground, thud, out for now. We assume dead, perhaps. I don't know. Anyway, she's out of the picture for a while. Then what happens? Yeah, they go through the floor and... oh no, sorry. That's when the Sam dick bite thing happens. Anyway. one of the beavers bites the electrical equipment and sets itself on fire, and then runs to the wall and the curtains to set the curtains on fire. So they're clever, for considering they're like beavers and zombies and rotting, and they gained like hyper intelligence or something, knowing that they should set the thing on fire to weed the people out or whatever. Anyway, that happens, and all of a sudden we have Mary basically panicking, like the place is on fire now, she's trapped essentially. Boom, truck goes flying through the wall. It's Zoe. Woo, she's good. So she flies through, they get in the car, they drive off, and they get to the part of the road where the tree was down, and they initially stopped when they were trying to get Buck to the hospital, and they stop, and you see god damn it. Well, basically everyone starts showing up as beaver people, right? So you got Smith is there, and Buck, and Jen, and Sam, and Tommy is under the tree, but you hear him growing, and then you see the bear, and the bear from earlier that Smith shot to scare away, and it has the glazed over eyes and beaver teeth, and they were like, really? I mean, why not at this point, right? So their friends, Smith and the beaver bear, are all surrounding the truck, and they how do they solve that? I think they drive through the tree or something. I can't really remember. Anyway, they escape. Or no, this is before they get to the tree. They try to cut another tree down to stop him, but it falls behind the truck. So they're stopped, and at this point, and that's what happens. Anyway, turns out that Jen is clinging to the roof of the truck, and she comes down through the window. Like, so Zoe slams on the brakes, and Jen goes flying, and Jen runs her over because, why not? And then, like, you hear, I never liked that bitch. And it's like, what? Well, why did you have, like, a weekend? Whatever. I guess there's always that one friend you don't like, maybe? I can't think of any friends that I don't like, so it's probably me. Good to know. Little self-esteem boost there. Anyway, regardless. So she's dead. Then they come to the tree. Come to the tree. And it looks like they're in home free. She's like, we gotta walk. All right. Ignored the noises from under that tree because it's Tommy, and she doesn't want her to see her boyfriend zombeavered under a tree. And she turns, and Mary has a gun pointed at her. She's like, where'd you get that gun? It was in the glove compartment. What are you doing? She's like, were you bitten? You're all cut up. She's like, I literally jumped through a window. I'm not bitten. Like, look at this. They're like clearly cuts from glass and like whatnot. Gun's not being lowered. She's like, okay, well, I mean, you gotta at least wait till I turn then, or else it's literally is basically murder. Like, chill. And before anything else can progress, lo and behold, Mary turns into the beaver person. So she is now ready to roll. And anyway, she gets axed in the head. Zoe still has the axe, so that's great. I think that's how it is. Well, Zoe dispatches her one way or another. I'm pretty sure it's an axe to the head. And limps off past the down tree down the road. And the sun is coming up at this point, and looks like she's home free. And at this point in my head, I'm thinking, you know what? Good choice with the final girl in this one, because she was definitely the most entertaining character by far. And yeah, so that's pretty cool. Anyway, pretty much the end of the movie, you see a car coming, she waves, she's like, oh my god, thank you. Yeah, it's Bill Burr and his buddy. And he's looking at his phone, and his buddy's like, you see that girl? And he's like, yeah, I see her. And he's like, okay, I trust you. And just as the truck is about to hit her, clearly he didn't see her, it cuts. So either she's dead or she's hit by the car or something. Anyway, I'm gonna choose to believe that she was hit by the car and survived somehow, because she was a good character, sort of. Well, she was the most entertaining character. If anyone lived, it should be her. And then the credits roll. That's the end of the movie. And then we have something that a lot of movies are missing out on lately that I think needs to come back: the blooper reel. So there are multiple scenes of the bloopers from inside this movie, and that alone is worth a watch. There's a couple of scenes with like improvised dialogue between Burr and his buddy in the car talking about different things. Is like, one of them's like, one time I got a hand job in an Arby's drive-thru, or maybe I gave it, I don't remember, or something stupid like that. There was another one where, oh god, I don't really remember. They're funny though, and I think that needs to come back in films. The blooper reel was always a good time, even if it's a serious movie. I enjoy it anyway, especially for this kind of. If it's a comedy, you absolutely have to have the blooper reels, in my opinion. So, but you don't often, so that was a nice little thing. Anyway, that being said, what did I think? Honestly, it got ripped apart in the ratings. I did do a quick look on IMDb, and people were giving it like a 4.6 and stuff, 4.8. I'm going to be a lot more generous than that, because I was expecting it to be absolutely like Beaster Day levels of bad. But no, it was well done-ish enough. Like, they had like a low budget still, clearly, but they did what they could with it. Like, some of those low budget films, you can tell that like the film quality itself, like the film that they're shooting it on, well, not film, who uses film, but the camera that they're shooting it on, I should say, is like of lower quality. This one, it looked like decent, pretty like a normal movie quality camera. The few scenes of like ripping gore that you see were actually not too bad. The practical effects were okay. The beavers absolutely looked like puppets, but I think that was part of the goal of the people who made this movie, is to make them like all clear. It's a stupid concept, right? So you want the antagonist creatures to be as ridiculous as the concept itself. So yeah, they're puppets. They have like radio controlled ones that are swimming in the water and stuff, and like, yeah, but they're real enough for this kind of a movie. I don't know if that makes sense at all. They're not real at all looking, but whatever. Anyway, the budget that they had, they used to this movie to its advantage, to what you would want to see in this kind of a movie. So anyway, I don't know where I'm going with that thought, but again, the dialogue, I enjoyed quite a bit of the dialogue. There were a couple of lines in there that were like, I think they must have improvised a fair amount of this. Like the chicken thing was ridiculous. The fucking, I feel like a Power Ranger thing was ridiculous. There were a bunch of others too that I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, that was good. So, all that being said, the story, I mean, again, think of the concept of this movie, Zombeavers. Like, you get exactly what you would want from a movie that has that title, in my opinion. So, for that, I'm actually going to give it a better rating than probably anyone has. And the blooper reel kind of adds to that. So, I liked it better than the remake of The Wolfman, which was a serious movie. And honestly, I think I rated that movie too high, to be completely fair, the more I think about it. But this isn't a movie about the Wolfman, it's a movie about the beaver people. So I rated the Wolfman a 6.3 repeating. Now, I can honestly say I enjoyed Zombeavers more than the Wolfman. So for that reason, I'm going to give it a 6.4, which is probably way higher than a lot of people will agree. I think the average person would give it like a low 5 or a high 4. I think so. But me personally, the amount of enjoyment I got out of this film that I expected just to be absolute garbage and like not even funny. Again, I was expecting like Beaster Day level, where like, yeah, some of the lines were funny, but like the acting was like terrible, and the creature effects were absolutely atrocious. Like, they weren't good, but like compared to Beaster Day, it was amazing. So that's what I'm going to give it, 6.4, and yeah, that's what I'm doing. And again, like, you got to go into this movie knowing that like it's a movie about zombie beavers. So just have fun, turn your brain off, laugh at the dialogue, laugh at the ridiculous beaver puppet things, and just have fun. That's my advice. Go in here without a serious mindset, and you will probably have at least half as much fun as I did. So, would I recommend this movie? You know what? Throw it in if you're in a goofy mood. If you're like wanting to watch something that's like actually creepy or like mind provoking, don't watch this, clearly. But if you're, you had a long day at work, worked some overtime, you threw in a 12-hour shift or something, and you just want to sit down, eat some nachos, and turn your brain off, throw in Zombeavers and you'll have a good time. Anyway, wow, I'm almost 36 minutes talking about a movie about puppet zombie beavers. So I'm going to end this now. Yeah, check it out if you're looking for a stupid film that'll make you chuckle. All right, peace, bye.